Good morning, Vegas number one. Vegas number one, good morning. MDK number two, good morning. Good morning. MDK number two. Good morning, Niffer number three. Adrian number four, and Billy D number five. Billy D number five. Good morning. Number six, Mushmouth. Number seven, Jimmy Max. Number eight, Herbie. Number nine, Alan. Number 10, Hags. Number 11, Free. The Ancient One. Free. You're all quite. Does everybody remember the numbers that I gave them? Who remembers the number I gave them? It was just the first 11 of you. The first 11 of you were all assigned a number. The first 11 of you were assigned a number. Do you remember them? I don't think you were three, Billy D. Free was 11. I remember for sure Vegas was number one. Vegas was number one. Don't you guys remember? I'm going to go ahead and find out who's going to win out of the first 11. But we'll go back and make sure it's correct. Well, number 11. Number 11. I know for sure that that's Free. Free, number 11. Free, the Ancient One. You know what the Ancient One is, you guys? It's mushrooms, man. They're the Ancient Ones. Free, Ancient One. Congratulations, Free. We had 11 people getting a shot at that one this morning. We had 11 people. We're getting a Rick-a-roll or Rick-a-rock. And it ended up Free won that. You got a spot for Free. And if you guys know the guy, he's not an Ancient One. He's 67 years old. I admit that. But he looks about 32. You guys know Free. He's 67. That's what like that hard good life looks like. I mean, we're seriously, and when you lay back and you're cool and you're mellow, like him, 67 years old. He showed me his ID at the last Mush Fest. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I thought you were like 32, maybe 31. So I know, Pops. I pretend I'm like 40. But, yep, Free the Ancient One, 67 years old. So, eggs. Oh, we're popping today. All cool. We got the, what's he called? The Walters going on this morning. Walter's all over the lab. Walter's got all kinds of lab ideas going. Walter's wearing hats and sunglasses. Wait till later. Walter has a couple more pictures he wants to share with you guys. Can I start out this morning with I need help? I don't need help, but I have a neat ideas. But there's so many of them. I have to stop microdosing. Good morning, Jess Jaws. I have to stop microdosing for a little while. Is it possible to get too creative? Seriously. Is it possible, like you just have too many ideas, too many things going on? You're just like, ping, ping. Is it possible to be a ping pong ball? And up in here, ADD, Derek Anderson. Be quiet, man. Good morning, Doc. Hags. I have a lot of ideas. Some of them include Maryland. How about a mobile lab that takes, there, Mike Barball, how about a mobile lab that takes us up and down the East Coast for our first swing? We got to do that. We're going to book stops all the way down. You know what you do then? You pull into each person's, pre-set it up, spend a half a day at their setup, help them with by the time you leave after a 4 or 5 hour visit, and you've got all the stuff, and you can teach them, it's like a crash course in mycology, right? But we do a trailer. I'll show you pictures real quick. You saw some, but I've been ruminating, and this has been just going through and through and through my head, and I don't know how to stop from thinking about this. I don't know how to stop, because there's so many other applications. I'll explain. I'll explain. So you got a trailer, right? This is like where all the generator, all the outside stuff, right? Little open doors in the back, you set it up. Get your flow hood in there. Get a little nice dehydrator in there. Get, every little, this has all you would need right there. Set this guy up. Got a refrigerator. You get somewhere, you hook the hose up, you've got the water going. Something like this, right? But then but you've got this going, right? With the truck or something, with a bed covered. And in the back of that, you probably have, you could actually put the freeze dryer in this, and mine's small enough, but you have to sit somewhere for like 30, 40 hours. Kind of belies the point of being mobile. But listen. So you do something like this, not this exact, but something like this. So I picture even like the back of the truck, have a bunch of grow tents, a bunch of shelving, some tubs that haven't been drilled yet, right? So you'll pull into somebody's place, spend 4 or 5 hours with them, go through a whole crash course on ecology, start to finish. This is how we inoculate. This is how we make LC. This is how we inoculate plates. This is how we make our grain. But it's all, set up. Run them through all the phases. And by the time you've left, if they don't have their own setup already, you leave them with a tent with a first-time basic setup. But you rolled into town with all the supplies. You're basically Myco Johnny Appleseed. No, you're Johnny Myco Seed. What do you think? I'm not even joking. It's like people can't come to you all the time. So you put on a pop tour, right? Guess what else you do with this? So now you're getting your little brick and mortar store together. This is about 2 years from now, because that's about the time they'll let it be legal here in Michigan. We're killing it on the state legislature. They're doing a phenomenal job. So now you have a little, for sure, Herbie, the mushy road, but it's not, it's more of like a tutorial. You're actually going along and teaching, and it's prearranged. Pops, please come to come, and they have their dates set. They know when you're coming. And you're not inconveniencing anybody. You just spend a day or so in their town. And then if there's any of the festivals, you know what I mean? There's some kind of a festival in town, farmers market, something like that. You got to be careful on some of that because you are driving around with some felonious stuff, but not much. It's going to be LC and plates. Nobody cares. But okay, so now you got a brick and mortar store. You set this up right next to the store or in your parking lot, right? And now you have a laboratory attached to your store. Now you can start holding classes or having students 2, 3, and 4 at a time. Here's another thing that you do with it, if it's the right people. Rent a lab. You don't have one at your house. You live in an apartment, studio apartment, but you got to go get your plates done. You got to go knock up your LC. You shoot over to Pop Shrooms. You sign up for an hour for the 2 hours for the lab. Go in, close the door, do your thing. Pass inspection, make sure it's clean when you leave. So it could be a rental lab. Come on, I'm not getting much feedback. Am I going crazy? I think for a nominal investment, you can get this paid back pretty good. Lab by the hour, Alan. The rental thing is a really good idea. I know it. I know it is. I know that's a big hook right there. Because some people, don't have the opportunity to do that. But they'd sure give you $50 so they could spend the hour in your lab get their whole stuff done and maybe even ask a question or two from somebody qualified. Yeah, I'm going to charge them for every answer. What would you like to know, son? Before I answer, that'll be $5. Oh, that's a very big question. I would like $12 for that answer, please. Maybe you don't charge them for the answers. Okay? Who would drive this thing around with Pops? We have to leave Brock home to take care of the house. I'll need some road dogs, my first tour. This thing could work out really cool. Right? Bill D says the right answers cost extra. Sandy, $375. It wasn't $350, bro. It was $375. And you get 3 Zoom calls. Yep, that's the deal. You send Pops $375, and I'll give you 3 Zoom calls, 40 minutes each. There's somebody out there doing something close to that. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Somebody's charging $175 to sit on a Zoom for 40 minutes to tell you how to do a grow? Would you just buy... That's called OnlyFans. Would you not be that guy? Please, would you? Don't sell Zoom time to it. Just send them Pop's book. Okay? There, Daniel. Just send them my book. $375. No, what is that? No, that's not $175. That's $125 an hour. Well, that's reasonable. $125 an hour is not bad at all. Okay? See, yes, that's right. You don't even have to buy my book. You can go get it on, what is it called? Kindle. Kindle, you get it for free. You guys want to see something super duper cool? We're not off the subject of the mobile lab. Buy it anyways, please. I agree with Cleany, because you know what? The money all goes to my nonprofit organization, which is called Fungi for You. Fungi for You. Like it's a four and a U. We haven't really gone public with it. We haven't started talking to people about it. But that is the nonprofit that's been set up. And one of these days we're going to go to town with that. And it's going to help us out with some of the legalities and the taxes and stuff. You know what else I would see this trailer doing? Hang in here with me. My brain can't stop. What if it was a mobile testing lab? What if I pull into your town because you're a grower and you want me to spend 4 or 5 hours there and analyze your crop? Maybe give you a little, what do they call it? Is talk to people about consultant on your grow. Pick it apart. Tell you what you're doing wrong. Tell you what you're doing right. Well, would that be better? A mobile testing lab with a little consultant guy driving along with it? Oh, it's been, you know, you got to get out and get your jacket on though, right? So a testing lab, the lab outside the rental lab, outside the store, the Johnny Mycoseed lab. Have we stopped thinking of things that we can do with this? Yes, yes. I like that idea. You get a 5-star pop rating. It's almost like a Michelin star. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the heat for like, who does that guy think he is? Who did Michelin think he was? Michelin comes along, hey, I'm a tire guy, but I'm going to tell you what your food tastes like. Oh, I'm Pops. I'm going to tell you if you got a 5-star grow or you got a 2, bro. Let's work it up to a 3 before I leave. Let me give you a couple ideas. We can bump this thing up to a 4. Oh, do you watch the Gold Show? What's that Gold Show? Where Juan and Freddie go and visit people's gold mines, and they teach them, they give them tricks to how to get more of their gold. Do you know what I'm talking about? Who's seen that one? I don't know where I'm off on a tangent, but I can't stop. This idea is just blowing my mind. That would be a good show too, right, Nerdy? That would be like, wow, Netflix. Then you get to see different people's grows. But you'll be anonymous about it. You don't even need to actually get on camera. An individual. Who knows about the Freddie show? The Freddie and Fred and Juan. You know, the only way you get any of this stuff done, you guys, is you hurl yourself into it. You hurl yourself into your ideas. If not, blomp, blomp. I'm looking for this is dumb. Somebody should look at me and go, Pop, don't do it. I'll tell you 8 reasons why it's really dumb. The testing lab would be the smartest if you're mobile, because you're really not doing any felonies driving along. You just have all the testing gear, but you don't have anything growing or anything like that. So actually a mobile testing lab would be the safest. Here in Michigan, if a rental lab, safe as could be. Wait till we get our license for testing. It's coming. Only be good for Michigan though, but there would be eggs, there would be enough business. You could drive around Michigan to different people's grows all year long. I'll be back next July to check on you. Can you guys get pumped about ideas like this? You gotta get pumped. The testing lab / consultant dude. And you're not out there to make money. You're out there to help people get their grows go. Right, Jolie? If they want, they invite you, into wherever their situation is. Don't forget, Pops has a background as almost a priest. I was a minister. I don't tell anybody else's secret. Therapist. You don't tell other people's secrets. You're sort of, in this deal here, you're sort of like their myco-priest. They're giving you a confession. Well, this is where my grow's at. Or this is where, and you're like, I'm sorry, you have to do 3 Hail Marys. And more FAE. But now, because you were their myco priest, you can't tell anybody anything about them or their situation or anything like that. You're sworn to secrecy, ethical secrecy. Am I right? You got to be almost like myco minister. All right, I'll stop talking about all of this now. I can't stop. My brain's going crazy. My brain's going crazy. Gotta be. No. Herbie's remembering. Mother Sabina's 2 for me, 1 for you. 2 for me, 1 for you. Yeah, once you get, you have to order one of these, and then they put it together for you, fabricate it for you, and either you go pick it up or you get it dropped off. I'm so like close to pulling the trigger on it, because I know I'll do something amazing. Stay tuned. Am I getting support? Am I getting people that would like, oh, that's interesting? Maybe 3 or 4 of you would say, Pops, be my myco minister and come on by, but we don't have to tell anybody. Paige says yes. Niffy says yes. See, that's the whole East Coast right there. We start up in Maine and work our way down to Florida. That covers a lot. First run. Could do all that. I don't know, man. I've got so many ideas. So it would start out more as a testing, consulting thing. And then you bring supplies with you that the people can purchase from you at cost. So by the time you leave, say they've never even had a setup before, you could leave them with a setup. All you need is the room for a grow tent. Then you could have a myco, you could have a pop tent. Adrian, the Appalachian Trail. So by the time I leave, you basically set up with a pop tent. I have to be up in New Hampshire, Mushmouth. I need to go see you and Streety. I got to get up there. Testing 1, 2, 3. I think that's the way to go. But we've been working on that here for a while. So we just be a consultant, sort of show people if you want your grow to look like, a little like this, we can help. Right? That's a guy you wouldn't mind having in town. Pops likes turkey sandwiches for lunch. Okay. Mushy, I don't like the tent idea. I'll get a room. I like turkey sandwiches for lunch. Okay? An occasional peanut butter with butter sandwich. Not jelly so much. I like jelly on other things, but not peanut butter and jelly. You know what I like? Peanut butter on one side And I prefer nutty peanut butter. I prefer nutty peanut butter, and then on the other side, butter. I know it's an oversaturation, but I like nutty peanut butter and butter, boop, together. Oh, I'm dying. I need a sandwich right now. Yup. It's delicious. Okay. I'm going to do one or two rando factos, and then we're going to go tear Gordon Wasson to pieces. All right? Doesn't that explain a lot, Greenie? It explains why Pops is in such good shape. Man, I was looking at myself today and flexing and stuff. I was going, dude, you look about 65. Okay. You want to hear the weirdest thing in the world? Thomas Jefferson. They had thermometers back then. They had thermometers. They had mercury running up and down scales, and they were telling, they sure did. Oh, we're going to shred Wasson, trust me. Thomas Jefferson purchased a brand new thermometer several days before he signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. He used it to record the temperature in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the historical day. At the exact time the document was signed, his thermometer read 76 degrees. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I think the fix was in. Meanwhile, John Quincy Adams, who was the son of John Adams, right? John Quincy Adams at one point was considered probably the smartest man walking on our planet. He knew 7 or 8 languages. He had started when his father was an ambassador to France before his father became president. He went over there with him and was actually starting it out at the age of 12, he was his father's secretary. Then his father sent him on a world tour. This guy's in his teens and he's already visited Russia, England, all the biggest, Germany. John Quincy Adams. Probably the most educated, one of the most smartest men in the world in his age. So he's the son of the Prez, right? Kind of gets one of those Bush deals. But he had a weirdo thing. No, Billy, I'm not. He had a weirdo thing. He was the 6th president of the United States of America, but every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, come rain, come shine, come icebergs down the Potomac, the 6th president would swim naked in the Potomac River. Prez, thought you were really smart. What the hell are you doing? There's icebergs coming down maybe once or twice to an old skinny dipperoo. But what? Do you guys remember Blockbuster? Like, remember Blockbuster like it was like ancient Rome. We used to love Blockbuster. That was part of it, just to roam up and down the aisles and stare at the boxes. I swear. Then you'd be all frustrated because that one would be out. And you'd have to go put your name in for reserve. Do you remember that? I remember it, and it really wasn't a bad thing. It was actually social. Excuse me, ma'am. You know, you'd have to bump the guy out of the way because he's in the western aisle, and you wanted to get that. You want the next Clint Eastwood. I actually enjoyed the Blockbuster. I was sad. You know what I was terrible at though? True story. I was the worst returner in the whole world. I would stop on the way home and get more movies, and I still have a stack at home that I haven't returned. So I'm renting some while others are charging. Like, why couldn't you just bring the returners with you? I remember what you guys are saying, the Be Kind Rewind campaign. I was preaching at the time. I made a big deal out of that. How Be Kind Rewind. How lazy and thoughtless we are. When Blockbuster came along, didn't they start charging us if they had to rewind it? They had a little rewind machine. And then you'd watch them rewind it. That's $1, sir. It's like, damn, why didn't I do that at home? Be Kind Rewind. It was 50 cents, Herbie. I thought it was almost $1. So here you're late, and you're doing a 50-cent rewind. You're in the bad boy line. They're giving you the dirty, they're giving you the stink eye. Herbie says, we're kindest family in Texas. We bought a rewinder. You didn't want to ruin your VHS, so you got a rewinder. Yep. Oh, I lost you. Wait for that. I got a better story than 99 cents. But you're always in the bad boy line. Don't you remember the girl with what they wear, like a blue apron? A blue or yellow apron, and she'd give you the stink eye, like, oh, why are you giving me the stink eye? You're making 50 cents a button. You just made $8.50 off of me in about a minute. Smock. It was a smock, Jess says. In the year 2000, it was blue and yellow. You guys admit you sort of enjoy going down nostalgia lane with Pops once in a while. Only 43 out of 62 of you like it, though, because the rest of you won't even push your like buttons. In the year 2000, during the prime of Blockbuster video stores, I didn't remember that was the year. So right around the year 2000, Blockbuster's doing its best. That's about right. I couldn't have put the right year at it though. But like, let's say Blockbuster as a business is at its zenith around the year 2000. The company made, wait for it, $800 million on collecting late fees. $800 million just on their late fees. I don't have a rewind fee here. Now, to get, this is for the win. What percentage of their business was in late fees? And I can tell you the number is between 10% and 30%. What percent of their business was just collecting late fees? Between 10 and 30. I don't see the number yet. Make sure. Yeah. I don't see the number yet. This is based off a rando facto here. So don't argue with me later. I'm going off of my rando facto sheet. Nobody's gotten it yet. This is their percentage between 10 and 30. B. Hendricks is correct. 16%. B. Hendricks. Hold on, B. I'll get right with you. B. Hendricks was the first person to say 16%. Can you imagine 16% of your business is in late fees alone? You don't have to do anything. They have it. We just chink, 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 chink. 800 million bucks. 16% of their business. B. Hendricks knew before the rest of us. B. I'm going to give you a choice. You actually get two choices. B. Hendricks, I haven't seen you around much, but we have this wheel that we can put your name on, and we spin it on Friday. And if you win on Friday, we're going to spin it two or three times on Friday. And if you win on Friday, you win a really big box of good stuff. If you don't want to win on Friday, but you just want to take home something today and your name not go on the board, B, I could send you this. This is 3 grams of Ghost. So I would just send you this, and sorry you can't be on the board and you can't win anymore this week. So which would you prefer, B? Would you like a spot on the board for a big win Friday? Or would you like 3 grams today? B. Hendricks is going for the wheel. That's a good call, B. So we're going to go right here. We're putting you on. Here we go, B. Hendricks. So you have to be here on Friday to win. I should have told you that before, but you have to be here on Friday to win when your name is called. Now, let's go shred Wasson for a little bit. And then I've got a really neat reading for the end of the day. Was Rando Factos? Rando Factos were pretty interesting today, were they not? Rando Factos, pretty interesting today. I had a couple more. I'll give you an example. Did you know that lime, a little fruit guy, limes sink in most cases when placed in a pool of water, but lemons float. Who decided that? Thanks, nature. You're sinking, you can float. What do oranges do? Do oranges sink or float? I didn't know it either, Lost Eagle. Why? It might be the makeup of their skin. Nerdy says oranges float. Aren't oranges big and heavy? Adrian says they bob like a bob. According to this, oranges will float when they're whole, but they'll sink if they are cut into slices. I want to do a fruit float study now. The skin of lemon is thicker and lighter. Is that it, Jolie? And then add in how airy the skin of an orange is. I think the skin of an orange is almost like a life preserver, right? Well, the oranges need to make up their mind. I love Rando Factos. We could do Rando Facto for the rest of the day, but we have to shred Wasson a little bit. For those of you who don't remember, Gordon Wasson's the guy we love to hate. He's the ad executive slime ball that ruined Mother Sabina's life. In a nutshell. I don't see a lot of redeeming qualities in stories that I've heard about him. Excuse me. In other words, we're going to just pick this up where we left off. We're in our radical mycology book, page 439. We had been talking about Wasson knowingly participating in significant academic fraud by writing his book about the Hell's Carbine affair, where J.P. Morgan Bank began their whole banking careers off of selling faulty carbine rifles to the American government. We also find out he plagiarized his half of his book from another guy's book. We also find out that he managed the public relations account for the Vatican and for the Pope. So he kept the Pope looking good even when the Pope wasn't looking good. Let's go back in history just a touch. If you remember who the Pope was in the 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, the Pope was this guy. He wasn't an American. Never has been. Political leanings, the Pope's never thought, oh, I wish Democratic Republic of America is the best, but there aren't too many popes that think that. They come from completely different idealistic places, even though they're also religious men. But in terms of political persuasions, your popes aren't American, let's say. We have historical facts now, looking back and going through the records and stuff. The popes in Europe supported Nazis in the 30s. Oh, they're doing good stuff for their country. They're really building up the German economy. The popes were anti-Semitic, duh. Hasn't there always been a schism between the Catholics and the Jews? Duh. The popes were overtly anti-Semitic. Outward. In their writings, in their decisions. Archaic in their thinking. I'm not really thinking that they're like great world leaders. And yet these men, especially back there in the 40s and 50s, 75% of Mexico, of the land in Mexico, was owned by the Catholic Church. That's just Mexico. Let's move down into South America. It singularly the richest institution ever. Still is. But now it's hidden in ways that they can hide it at the highest levels of banking on the planet. So you don't take it from them because they were wheedly-tweedling with the little boys. So we have to hide the assets now. And I'm not talking anti-Catholic. I'm talking about the people inside of any religion. Any religion has people in them. Ugh. So automatically you're screwed. Why am I diatribing on this? This is the guy that Wasson decides, I'm going to be in charge of their public relations campaign, and I'm going to clear them up and present all these articles and these pictures and this stuff. Make the world think how wonderful they are. Post-Nazi. Post 6 million Jews being killed. And the Catholic, any of the churches in the world doing nothing about it. Not one church in the world. Not one church in the world stepped up and said, would you guys stop killing those Jewish people, please? We can't put up with that. Y'all look the other way. Whew. Thank God it's not us. So if I could keep shredding Wasson right there. Screw you, dude. Screw you for taking their money to make them look better. I prefer people that tell the truth. I know, I'm sorry it rubs some people the wrong way, and other people are going to cancel you. Some people won't push the like button. We remember that he was heavily involved in the Century Club, which was all the big bankers and the big shots on Wall Street. We remember that one of his very, very best friends was Alan Dulles, Mr. CIA mind control dude. This is at the time where CIA didn't think they had to follow a single rule, single civil rights. They'd assassinate people on the street if they, it's in the best interest. It's in our best interest. Who decides? You gotta poke someone with an umbrella and kill them? You gotta listen into their most intimate conversations in their bedrooms? That's right, war pigs. You're going to take innocent humans and you're going to turn them you're going to mind control. You're as bad as those Nazi doctors on the islands that are like lobotomizing people and you've seen those movies, the Doctor Strangeloves. They were lawless in the 50s and 60s. The CIA told the politicians this is what you're going to do. Because if you don't, we have the Jeffrey Epstein tapes on you. God forbid you're on those Jeffrey Epstein tapes. You're screwed. You went to the party. You're done. You're voting the way I said. You guys know what I'm talking about? The Jeffrey Epstein? There's Jeffrey Epstein tapes in every generation. Sick? Because they weren't focused on, hey, let's talk to each other and do things wonderful and right for one another. They're like, how can we make money? We'll defend the Pope. We'll defend JP Morgan. We'll defend anything. I get paid. We'll defend mind control. We'll make the proponents of this stuff our best friends. That's who the people we're going to hang out with. In other words, Wasson was not simply a banker turned amateur mycologist, as is so often presented. Rather, the man held significant power and influence among many of the most powerful figures around the world. And he worked directly with the CIA during his trips to Mexico. I'm not being conspiracy boy. I'm not that guy. I was conspiracy boy for a minute. The JFK assassination. I was convinced that Oswald couldn't have done it alone. I brought that mindset to my study. I can tell you, I don't know another person, armchair person, that isn't getting paid for this, that has studied or knows more about JFK's assassination than Pops. I can tell you to the minute, the day, what happened that day. I can tell you so much background, so much foreground. I have absolutely saturated myself in that some years ago. Well over 100 books I've read. Everything from whitewash to what Posner's latest book, where he just absolutely debunks all the theories. I can't remember it. And I brought to it the mindset, oh, it's got to be a conspiracy. No one goofball could pull that off. Conspiracy pops isn't really, I'm not a big conspiracy guy. I went down the rabbit hole. I had to look at everything. Magic bullet, all the whole deal. Oswald did it alone. That's my final analysis. No mafia, no CIA, no underworld stuff. It was one of the most rando situationos, and I ultimately come to the decision I wanted to be a conspiracy. I was looking forward to it. It'd be wonderful to find out that who is it? Woody Harrelson's dad's supposed to be involved, right? Just like I'm over it. Remember, there was a time there where we thought Woody Harrelson's dad pulled the trigger, and who was saying that? They've always been saying that, but didn't, what's his name, bring that up? That goofball senator from Texas. Sorry, rando. I'm rambling. My whole point is I don't look for conspiracies. In that one case I did, but in my life, I think conspiracy theories are stupid. I think there's too many people. I think there's too many loose lips, and there's too many opportunities to make money, that if you were involved in any of these big conspiracies, there would have been a big blab. It would have already been blabbed out. Ted Cruz, that's what I was thinking of, Anthony. So I'm not the big conspiracy guy. I don't even think Area 51, I'm still not sure. I have to study it more. Was it a weather balloon? Did the government cover something up? Did one of those guys really see an alien looking body? Why do we only have it happen once in the 50s, and after that we don't get it again? I'm still having a problem with that one. I don't know. They are working on it. The government's starting to put a couple of dollars behind it, and Freedom of Information Act out there and stuff, and they're starting to uncover a little bit. They'll tell us if the UFO thing is the deal or not. I can't spend a lot of time on it in my head because it freaks me out. What if there are? All of that, I was saying all of that to say that I don't believe in, I'm not a big conspiracy guy. But this was a conspiracy. This was a conspiracy involving Wasson and the CIA and finding psychoactive drugs and a way to use them as mind control. I think that they probably were using them almost as truth serums. I don't think that they were like trying to make the magic soldier when they say mind control. I think it was more like, if we give them this and then we interrogate them, we don't have to waterboard them. We just give them a dose of these. Maybe they'll tell us the truth. When Irvin, the author of this book, not this book here, but a book about basically just completely shredding Wasson like we're doing right now, when he first presented his research to the psychedelic community in 2012, he was immediately ridiculed for contradicting over 50 years of popularly accepted history. That Wasson just went down there on a feel-good trip and wrote this lovely little article in Life magazine, and poof, magic mushroom stuff began. He did all of the research and found out, no. The CIA was involved, Dulles was involved, this guy went down there on a $2,000 grant. He's got all of the documents to prove it. He didn't just make it up out of a sackcloth. No. This was a purposed thing, and the guy they picked to go down there and do it was Greasy Gordon. Gordon will do anything for a buck. In a very short time, Irvin was actually ostracized from our psychedelic research community because of these beliefs. He had been researching this for over 20 years and disproving popular beliefs with documented evidence. Psychedelic advocates are now coming around to Irvin's point of view. This author says, when I first heard of Irvin's work, I was surprised to hear such a contradictory account of the contemporary history of psychoactive fungi. But considering the profound implications that such claims hold on social change, I decided to not dismiss them outright, but to investigate their validity so as to decide for myself. Sounds like what a Pops would do. In early 2014, I contacted Irvin to see if he would be willing to review a synopsis of his research that I had written for Radical Mycology. I told Irvin I wanted to offer the reader an unbiased account of the commonly presented history of Wasson's work alongside Irvin's version, so as to let the reader decide which was more accurate, the sanitized version or this well-researched Irvin version. Irvin responded that due to his conviction in his research's integrity, he would rather offer me access to his home and research documents in Southern California so that he could clearly explain his findings. He goes, I'm not just going to tell you I agree or disagree. Come to my house and look at all of the documents and all the stuff that I put together for the last 20 years evidentiary supporting my claims. Man, book me a flight. So in June 2014, I traveled to the hills outside of Los Angeles to see the documents on Wasson that Irvin had diligently accumulated. Throughout an entire day together, Irvin walked me through the string of evidence, showing me the documentation of Wasson's elite affiliations, letters directly from Wasson to the CIA and Alan Dulles, and even a letter in which Wasson bragged about deceiving the general population. In the end, I had to conclude that the above claims Irvin made about Wasson were true, and that the entire foundation of the psychedelic subculture that I had variously engaged with throughout my life was now called into question. When history doesn't tell us the truth. We'll do a little bit more tomorrow. But that's a shred Wasson, huh? Anybody shredding Wasson around here? It's really important that we know our background. Know that we're not pure, that we have like scammer scumbagos. Right in the deal, right in the very beginning, we have scammer scumbagos with us. Keep an eye out for them. They're right there at the very beginning. And they'll always be here. It's up to people's honesty and integrity and impeccability that keeps the scumbagos under control. I'm going to give two more things here, two more opportunities to get on the wheel. But I do want to do one more reading before we go today. This is a beautiful reading. I hope you guys can hang in here with me for long enough to do this reading, okay? It's really, really good. I won't spend a lot of time doing pop-ins. I'll just read it. Self-confidence. It may have nothing to do with me, but if a friend or loved one is sad or angry, I can secretly wonder, what did I do? Or what can I do? Or why didn't I do it all better to begin with? Anybody like that? Somebody's going through something and you're like, oh, geez, what did I do? Or what can I do? Or if I'd have done something better at the beginning. We all get trapped. I am often surprised and humbled by how quickly in my insecurity Pops doesn't have a lot of it. But when I experience it, insecurity, it absolutely is debilitating. I might as well be a quadriplegic in a wheelchair. As soon as I experience, oh no, I can't, I'm insecure about that. I'm done. Insecurity won. Put me in the wheelchair. Oh, she's too pretty, I can't talk to her. You're done. Oh, I'll never be able to catch one that big. You're done. Oh, but what do they think about me if I have my hair? You're done. Oh, but how many comments? But how many followers? Done. The minute I start to experience my own personal insecurity, I'm just talking about me, my insecurity, that's why I stay away from it. That's why I'm happy to brag, flex. Because I'm not going to slip into insecurity, pal. I can't afford wheelchair time. I can't afford the downtime. You know what I mean, Hanks? I'd rather walk around with a puffed up chest and act than go insecure. I can't afford myself to experience insecurity. I am often surprised and humbled by how quickly in my insecurity I begin to assume responsibility for all the wrongs and all the sufferings I see around me. When I'm thrown off center, when old patterns return, when I'm feeling exhausted or depressed, I so quickly become the exaggerated cause of all that is not right with the world. This is so human. I know I'm not alone in this. Perhaps it's one of the laws of emotional weather. Sudden lows result in isolated storms. It has happened to me enough over the years that I have to acknowledge the power of negative self-centeredness. We typically think of the ego center as being conceited and self-inflated and quite selfish. But this recurring struggle we have with exaggerated responsibility has made me realize that more often we are ego-centered. Listen to this. This is so brilliant. We're actually ego-centered not when we're flexing and not when we're secure and not when we're confident. We're actually ego-centered when we're feeling deflated, when we're feeling shaken from our sense of oneness with things. In that place of separation, we become darkly self-centered. You can't see anything but you in the darkness. You're incredibly ego-centered at this point. You're blaming yourself for not fixing things or making things right or letting things go wrong. under this self-recrimination is the grandiose assumption that we have any power in the first place. Any power to control events that are actually beyond our human beings' influence. So while you're sitting in your little depresso ego center, you actually have a grandiose assumption that you could change the world. That you're responsible for what? Ego. That's where your ego kills you. Not when your ego is telling you, boy, you look pretty good today, pal. Nice workout. Well, that was really kind of you to do that for that old lady. Good job. That's not ego. That's a program of practicing kindness. Let me finish. Certainly we affect one another. And often, but to assume that other people's inner moods hinge on my presence is an egocentric way to keep myself in a cycle of sacrifice and guilt. Boom. Further, to assume that another's condition or way of being in the world hinges on my presence in the very beginning is self-oppressed and codependent. In extreme moments of negative self-centeredness, we can assume magical proportions of burden in which we feel acutely responsible for a loved one's illness or their misfortune because we weren't good enough to be there or we weren't perfect enough. So now you're responsible for their random misfortune. It is helpful to note here that psychologist Michael Mahoney's definition of self-confidence. He traces confidence to the Latin word confidere, which means fidelity, faithfulness. In the Marine Corps, that's our motto, semper fidelis, always fidelis, always faithful. And we're talking about in the Marine Corps, it's to each other. Marine to Marine. We will never leave one behind. Period. Thousands have died by not leaving one behind. It's incredibly comforting as a soldier to know that your brethren will at least get you home. And you know it if you're in the Marines. You know it. They'll get you home. It's part of the deal. He traces confidence to Latin confidere, which means fidelity. And he understands that confidence is fidelity to yourself. Fidelity to yourself. You are faithful. When you're self-confident, you're faithful to yourself. You're not going to leave yourself behind. No pops left behind in any of my engagements. So now when I trip into moments of low esteem and I feel certain that I'm the cause of all this bad weather, I try to feel the pace of the earth turning beneath my feet and the pace of the clouds drifting over my head and the pace of my heart opening after a lifetime of pain. When these align, I am weakened of my ordinary will, and I'm awakened into a power greater than any one heart, greater than the weather of any one day, mood of any one life. I really liked our reading. I was just this morning, I spent a half hour with that before we even started here this morning on ego-centered is not about bragging and flexing. Ego-centered is staying in your depressed place. It's allowing yourself to be programmed and continue to experience the anxieties, and then taking some sick responsibility for it. And then usually what we'll end up doing too is lashing out, because we don't know how to control something like that. So what do? We don't habitate those places. Let's do a giveaway. You'll get on the board or take a 3-ounce fruit. First person to answer this question. Thank you for listening to me here today, you guys. Thank you very, very much. First, we shredded Wasson. Then we shredded ourselves and our tiny little egos. Why is bowling such a quiet sport? It's a popsicle. Why is bowling such a quiet sport? You're welcome, Joey Losty, Anthony, B. Hendricks. Why is bowling such a quiet sport? 3 ounces of Fruit RX. Because you can hear the pins drop. Nerdy, that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me because you can hear pins drop. Nerdy nailed it. Because you can hear pins drop. Nerdy, was it that easy? Is Nerdy on the board? No, he is not. Nerdy, would you prefer, this is 3 grams, I weighed it before our show. Would you prefer 3 grams? I'll also give you the option of, you could get a 25 pack of Bluebirds, or you could get on the board. So you can have option 1, option 2, or hit the board. Which one do you want? He's going wheel, Pops. Good call, Nerdy. Let's put you on the wheel. And we're going to do one more of these, so hang in here. Nerdy, we got to get you on the board. All right? Here we go. I'm not saying Nerdy. We all know who Nerd Nature is. He's nerdy. Okay? Let's do one more. We're going to do numbers. Let's do numbers 1 through 50, 3 per line. Veterans here know exactly what I'm talking about. Numbers 1 through 50. Pick 3 of them and put them on one line. And here we go. I've got the number. I've got that number. I've got a big number. Okay, I'm looking for a specific number here. You're putting 3 on one line, picking numbers between 1 and 50. Okay, CCS, that's funny. Hold everything. Clean Grow. Cleany nailed it. Cleany said 21. Cleany said 21. And the answer is 21. Cleany nailed it. So Cleany, I'm giving you options. You want to go on the board? Or do you want 3 grams? Or do you want 25 Bluebirds? Which one do you want, Cleany? You can pick one of 3. Which one do you want? You're on the board, you're going fruit, or you're going Bluebirds? Which one's he doing? Cleany, yep, it's Ghost. It's 3 grams of nice Ghost. Pop's had an abundant, bountiful harvest, and some of you know because you've been getting great deals over at the website. You guys have been getting some great deals. Okay? Which one did Cleany pick? I want to do one more. So, Cleany, did you pick one? Yes or no? I want to still do one more, you guys. So he took the Ghost. Okay, I need you to send me your address at the DetroitMushLab.net. The DetroitMushLab.net. And I will get that mailed out to you. But get me... There. I wrote your name right on the bag. Give me your address, and I'll get that mailed out to you. Let's do one more. Numbers between 1 and 50. Pick 3, put them on one line. First person to say the number that's in the chute will move. We'll have opportunities here. So pick up one more. We have one more time today. What's the number? There it is. Okay. Here we go. I'm looking for. Ego's got it. Ego's got it. I had to make sure that Ego wasn't up on the board. Ego said 25. And the answer is, if you can tell, that. Come on, dude. A 25. Right there. So, Ego, it sounds like you could use this today. Sounds like you could use a little bumpy whinny. So, congratulations. Ego, what do you want to do? Do you want to go on the board? Do you want 3 grams of ghost? Or do you want 25 bluebirds? Which do you want, Eags? Eags. Now you're Eags. That's it. When you have to make decisions, your name is Eags. So which is it, Eags? Board me up. That's a good call. Here we go. We're going to put Ego on the board. We still have room tomorrow to put more people on the board. Outstanding. Ego. 4. Myco. All righty. Well, it's running late. Pop's talked too much today. Running late. You like my mobile laboratory idea? We're going to be working on that. Seriously. I'm bouncing the numbers around. I'm figuring it out. I see something like that having more than one application. It's one of the reasons it's a smart business move when you can make an investment that'll have more than one application. You know what I mean? You'll use it more than one way. One of these days when everything's totally legal, have your stuff painted on the side of that. That's literally a rolling billboard too. That thing will pay for itself in advertising in a couple of road trips. You don't want to do that yet, but one of these days, especially if it was a mobile testing lab, lots of people are like, "Ooh, what's that?" So, yeah, we have a lot of ideas bouncing around, and the reason that they are is because we're spending our time not being depressed, not being self-anxious, not being negative, not having an ego center of negativity, but for doing this instead. Growing. Spend our time growing, hurtling. Feather beds out there. Have a beautiful day. We did that. We did the trailer talk. I'll keep you guys updated on my idea there. Okay? We're going to trailer talk. That's Johnny Mycoseed. Very, very good reading about Gordon Wasson. We'll pick up some more stuff about psychoactive history of drugs in the 60s tomorrow. And then we'll try to have another nice spiritual reading for us. Have a beautiful day, you guys. Pops, peace, love each other. Love yourself. Out. Jess and Niffer and Holly and Bubblegum Kello. The ultra portable community. Advancing. So what's that? Pop? You'll come up with something, Bubble. You're so smart. Jesse and Joss and hi, Jolie. And Adrian and I lost you and Sandman. Have a great day, my good friend. Nerd Nature and Mark Zamaron. Hi, Mark. And Holly and Hags. Love you, Hags. And Ego and Cleany and Street Glide. Old ambulance. That's a thought too, right? Yeah, that's a thought too. Yeah, because then you're actually driving the whole vehicle. Streety, Mike Barabal, Jonathan K, Holly, Millie D, Herbie Von Werby Kabop, I Lost D City, CCS, Streety, Just Joss, you too, Silly and Cap Tank, and Joey Portunalo, and Daniel Cunningham, and Mike Barabal, and CCS, and B. Hendricks, and Free, and Jesus Christ, and I think he's in Australia. Holly M and Streety and Herbie and Healthy Green and Mushmouth. There's Mushy and Laura. Have a divine day. Jesus and Jimmy Max and Nipper and married Michael, you too. And Mike Bartapal and Jess Joss and Holly and Billy Flynn and MVP and CCS. Don't do the hearse. That's creepy. MVP, Mark Zamaron. Justin OK Med, Rosie, Anthony Thornton. Have a good day, big guy. Seawolf, nice to see you here. Daniel Cunningham, MDK, Robbie, and Kate. Jesse and Daniel and Mark and MDK and CCS and Daniel and Pidgey Page. Page, smile, walk through it. You know that there's nothing to it. You can make it if you try. Love you. Pops, peace. Love each other. Pops, peace. RMMF this weekend. Out.